I say me and you should have a shot. Let's just have one.
Hold this.
JC can't say no to me. Don't bring that rot gut shit over here either. I know I see the expensive shit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is sipping whiskey. Okay? This isn't the kind of shit. Well, it is. Fuck it, I'll drink it all.
What you just did there, you changed your mind, right? You say this is sipping whiskey. No, let's drink the whole thing. I feel like a lot of people have a hard time changing their mind, right? They feel committed to an idea or something they've been loyal to for so long. Now somebody introduces a better idea, well, they won't go with it.
You know why I can change my mind? Because I've done them both. You know, a lot of people can't change their fucking mind because they ain't never done dick. You know? Look at there, son. Here's to my best friend, J.C. Knight, Gunner.
My best friend, First Sergeant Bill Bodette. Seabass.
You know, talk about regrets. I have many. God knows I have many. I could have done things so much different. But the number one thing that I regret was when I was retired as a first sergeant, JC was a brand new gunner. I didn't get a fucking picture of me saluting my best friend when he was an officer. Tell me that would have been badass. To this fucking day, that's my one regret when we were up there for my retirement. I should have immediately just dropped what I went, walked over, and rendered you proper courtesy, you know, because you earned it. Well, and I'm proud of you for that. Well, and that is one of my regrets.
You know, I looked at that culminating moment, and you talk about the teacher and the student. This isn't kissing Bo's ass, but to think of you know, you take the snapshots of your life, be it personally or professionally, but you think about the chances, right? I know the Marine Corps is small, but I'm on a hike, and for whatever possessed you on that day in 1995 to pull up beside of me, some sloppy fucking private, and say, "Don't be a pussy," to 5 years later, that one comment, that one moment in time played a role in me landing at Paris Island in DI school, and we happened to be on the same catwalk in the same fucking squad as grunts going to 2nd Battalion to be in DIs to we leave the drill field within 3 weeks of each other, and I check into your company, and you just happen to be walking outside to put a dip in.
And I said, stay right here. Don't talk to nobody. Stay right fucking here, JC.
And you said, hey, I done told the CO to let go of the 1st platoon sergeant, and I told the sergeant major that Staff Sergeant Knight's going to check in, and he needs to go to Kilo Company. And you walked out and told me that, and I walked upstairs, and I said, Sergeant Major, Staff Sergeant Knight reporting as ordered. You know. And I said, I'm going to Kilo. And from there, for us to do 3 years at war together.
Do you know?
Wow,
honest
man.
to God.
That's crazy.
I truly believe 100%, JC, if you wouldn't have checked in the Kilo, if I hadn't been walking outside that day, you probably would have went to another company. You wouldn't have took the career path that you took right now. You wouldn't be a fucking gunner. You probably wouldn't be selling these weapon systems. You would have retired as a fucking gunny or as a first sergeant just like me.
Miserable.
Miserable. But I'm so proud of that you fucking did that, you know, and
you know, and we talked earlier, we talk about, you know, life advice, and he set a great example for me. There are a lot of times in the Marine Corps that people are going to set stuff in front of you. I was just like the fat guy at the Golden Corral. I was a glutton for punishment. Of course I was tired. I mean, in Iraq I got thrown off of an Amtrak and it damn near killed me, right?
Oh, I was there.
But then I have a guy come to me and says, you're the guy that needs to take my sniper platoon.
Yeah, it's pretty
badass.
And
I felt morally compelled that if I was going to take that platoon, guess what I need to do?
You went through sniper school.
I'm going through sniper school.
With a broke foot?
With a broke foot. But
people said, JC ain't going to make it to sniper school, man. It's too hard. He's too old. I said, watch this.
Right.
Watch this.
But you had a huge part in putting that fire in my tank, saying, you know what? It doesn't matter if anybody else believes. You've just got to keep moving. You've just got to keep moving the ball forward. I was never first. I was never last. I was close a couple times. But it's the culmination of all of it. You run the race. You run it well. You come out the backside. and you're probably going to be better off for it. So,
you know, you're talking about never first, never last. Tell that story about when you were the guest speaker down at DI school.
So, of all the things,
when he had to go back down after he retired as gunner.
So I go down to DI school. They said, "Hey, we want you to be the guest of honor at our drill instructor school."
God, I wish I could have went to that.
You pulled a hamstring.
That's right.
You pulled a hamstring,
I
bad.
Walk.
You couldn't walk.
No.
So I went by myself, and I got up there, and I thought to myself, what do I do to capture how great it is to be a Marine and to also know that there's nowhere to go but up? And I remember asking the instructors, and I went and found this one Gunny, combat vet. I said, Gunny, I said, who's a Marine here that's a good Marine that did really fucking shitty at school?
But made it. And
he gave me this sergeant.
No, let me stop. Even if you do really shitty at DI school, you are still cooking with fucking gas. Okay?
Amen. Right.
So if you do shitty at DI school, you're still fucking light years above your peers anyway.
So I didn't graduate too well, but I graduated, right? And I remember looking out at the class. I said, who's a good Marine that did really bad that needs to be called out? And he gave me this sergeant's name. And I said, Sergeant, I said, 43 of 44, huh? I said, 41 of 44. And I said, let me tell you something, Hoss. It doesn't matter where you start. It only matters where you finish.
That's it.
You know?
And I guarantee you that resonated with him.
And, you know, I got meritoriously promoted down there, for God's sakes.
Sure did.
And I can't even drill.
Yeah. Right.
Right? So, yeah, man.
See, I did well in DI school. I did well down there at Paris because I was a little older, too. You know, I was an old staff sergeant, you know. I'd already had a platoon for years.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a lot harder on people like JC. Went down there as a sergeant.
Been 5 years?
Been in 5 years. I was in for 13.
A little saltier than me. It's all right.
You know what I mean? What's that?
A little saltier than me, but that's okay.
But, you know, but I had a lot. I knew the deal a little bit better than a lot of these young guys. But
yeah. So, yeah, man, you just doesn't matter where you start. It only matters where you finish, man. And everything hard that you go through, as long as you don't look at it through the lens of a victim, it's going to make you fucking better, man. That's it. The glass is half full. Well,
bottom line.
These aren't. But
bottom line, JC.
If the glass is half full.
Bottom line, don't be
a pussy. Don't be a pussy.
I could teach a man to do a lot of fucking things. This is what I told JC when he was a private and I was a sergeant. I said, Knight, you want some advice? And, of course, he's going to say, yes, Sergeant. He said, yes, Sergeant. And it looked like the Trail of Tears, remember?
Buddy.
There was Marines falling out. I mean,
big, swollen green sleeping bags.
Laying in the ditch. I mean, we were stepping it out. And JC was keeping it tight.
I remember there's a bunch of mortarmen saying, base plate relief. I got a machine gun. I'm just walking, son.
Right.
Walking.
I said, I can teach a man not to do a lot of things. About anything. Right. I can't teach you not to be a pussy.
Don't be a pussy.
Bottom line, just don't be a pussy. Yeah. You want to be in this business, don't be a pussy.
I am grateful for every good, bad. Hell, I'm almost more grateful for the bad experiences because I use those.
It's all part of it.
It's all part of it, man. And you take all the negative and you try to shine a good light on people and tell, hey, man.
Just like what Seabass was saying, changing your mind. You know why you can change your mind? Because you've seen the good and the bad. Right. And the ugly. You've been down that road before. Yeah. Ain't nobody can tell you shit now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got to be open to other opinions, other views.
Oh,
but my thing is this: if you're going to come to the table, just like I talk about the people that haven't been north, south, east, or west to nowhere, don't come at either one of us. I'm pretty safe and say, don't come at me and give me your worldview, and you ain't been nowhere.
Right.
You know,
yeah, right.
You're out of your league, man. And here's the thing: if you're not around guys like us that are going to call you on it, there's a solid chance you're going to make the people that you're around dumber and worse off for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're spouting off some bullshit like you know something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And dumbasses will listen to other dumbasses.
And everybody becomes dumber. It's terrible.
And the world becomes a worse place. You know, the fucking goddamn sense of entitlement drives me fucking nuts. You know?
Mister, you owe me. Give me. You give me one.
Yes.
You can get the fuck out of here.
Since the damn invention of the internet, right, people have been spending more time online on their screens, okay? So one of the side effects of that is that America's youth are more and more increasingly being raised by their phone, by what they consume online.
We see that.
Right? So Well, I don't even know if this is a question. It's more of just throwing it to you. What was it like growing up without screens and stuff versus what you're seeing now, people being raised by the internet? What are some things you notice?
I used to carry in my wallet a piece of paper with all these girls' phone numbers on it. You remember that?
It was like your honor, courage, commitment card.
And it was so old it was falling apart. It was all falling apart, but I wanted to call her, whatever. That's how you did it. And you put it in your wallet. Remember, there'd be one phone at the bar. Fuck, man.
We look.
But we made it happen.
We look at today's youth, right? And I remember before I stepped off in 2017, the last big brief I went to was at the Base Theater. And you know how they had the mezzanine up top?
Oh, yeah.
Me and the Colonel were the only two sitting up there. And all the Marines were down below. And that was in 2017. If that was in 2007 or before, what you would have seen was a bunch of Marines sitting there talking to each other, coming up the plane. We're going to swoop to Wilmington this weekend.
Right.
Bodette's got this lined up. I got the wheels. I'm going to be the DD. Seabass is going to bang the fat girl.
This right here has taken away the opportunity for you to be social.
Yeah, and what happens is, but here's the point of that. Seabass is going to bang the fat girl. I'm going to drive. Bodette's going to do this. Joe Bob's going to do this, and we're going to go together because he knows this girl that's going to UNC Wilmington. He's going to take one for the team.
Right.
But what happened there? 4 dudes made a plan.
Right.
Everybody's got a job to do. Gear common to all. We're heading south, and the point is we're all going to hook up, right? That's what guys would talk about. Yeah. And along the way, if we got in a fist fight or we had problems, the implied task involved was understood because we spent time together. Fast forward to 27.
I bet when you look down there, all their heads were like this.
All their heads were like that.
Yep.
So the interpersonal communication, the way that everybody comes together, I think we've taken a step backwards. I think that this is great if you know how to handle it, right?
Right.
But if you don't, man, you're set up for failure. So
when I was down in St. Petersburg with my 2 daughters, I brought them to a concert down there. Good band, outdoor band. I'm with my wife, my 2 daughters. And I shit you not, my 2 daughters were on their phone the whole time.
Not even enjoying the show.
Now, not even enjoying the show. Now, Dad had a few whiskeys.
I'm shocked.
So I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at him, and I'm about ready to take them fucking phones and launch them, right? The ones I paid for. And my wife happened to catch me looking at them. And I see Shelly go, "You better get off your fucking phones right now. Your dad is looking at you. Look at how your dad's looking at you." And they went, put them right in their pocket.
Right.
And then they had a great time once they put down their fucking phones. They started talking to people, listening to music. They made friends.
Yeah, and I think what it's really done, Seabass, and I think what it's really messed up is it's created a culture of like you lack accountability. So you were going to get on your phone and say something. It's like if we were in person, I would hope that you could move your hands half as fast as your fingers typing that message where you want to talk some shit because guess what? You're not accountable on this.
No.
Right?
Remember what I said. A great platform for people who love to fight, but won't take a fucking punch.
So when this came around, what you took away was the kids growing up on a schoolyard playing sandlot football and basketball and baseball, riding their bikes.
Look, man.
All the things that we used to work together with our buddies. That's why, look, here's an example. If we walked out in front of my house right now, down here on Main Street, and walked out on the street, you're not going to see any kids, right?
Right, they're all inside.
But if this was 1987, how many kids?
Bikes and shit, kids climbing trees, making ramps, jumping and breaking
There'd be a
their
kid.
legs.
Yep.
Listen, I got to tell you this.
If I'm lying, I'm dying.
This is how you know how fucked up our society and how weak our society has gotten. Perfect example. How many kids do you see today with a cast on their arm?
Not very often.
Very seldom. When I was growing up, every 3rd kid had a fucking cast.
Yep.
Because he was out getting busy.
All their jeans had blown out knees, not because they bought them that way.
Right.
They got it the hard way. Right? And
but seriously, just look at next time, people out there. Next time you look at kids, see how many of them have casts on.
And let's think about this. We talk about. Here's another one. You can appreciate this as an MMA guy, Seabass. Being comfortable with interpersonal violence. Shit, we learned that at the schoolyard in the fucking 4th and 5th grade. I was throwing hands with some guys who are today some of my best buddies, right? But guess what? We'd throw hands, we'd shake hands, and then we're off to doing whatever, hide and seek, riding bikes, playing G.I. Joe, whatever. But we got through it. These kids have skipped that step, so the ability to solve problems and work through things, I think they're hamstrung, and it's almost like they've their trajectory is stunted. And I think that lends itself to them looking through a lens that's that of a victim.
A victim.
We've cheated them of a good time like we had. And you even see it with our adults. I remember, here's another one to that youthful upbringing. I remember guys rolling up in Trans Ams, Firebirds, you know, pickup trucks with a beer in a paper bag, and they stop at the schoolyard on their way home from work like, give me that ball, boys.
Yep, right, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then, after you and one of your buddies have got into a fight, they throw some wisdom. Y'all cut that shit out, right? Those days are gone. You don't.
Two dumbasses come here.
Yeah, those days are gone, and God, what a special good time. I think, you know, and I'll see this when I go to a cigar lounge where I've got guys between 75 and 40. We've all experienced that. So I think guys kind of under the 40 and below, they miss that, man, and I almost feel bad for them.
I do. I do. You know,
they missed a quality experience, and that's too bad, man. I hate it for them. So, if you're younger than 40, be wise enough to know that you don't know, and put yourself in positions that are going to make you have to be social, be around people, and deal with things.
You know, the day's 24 hours, right? You're supposed to have 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work. Right? 8 hours of recreation. I know kids that will give up their sleep to be on the video games.
Yeah.
16, 12 hours a day. And they think the problem with that is they believe that is reality. You know, the headshots and their little fucking thing. Yeah. I got news for you. It ain't reality. As everybody in this room knows. You know, and the problem is parents have gotten lazy too, because they think, well, I'll buy him this Game Boy or whatever. He's off. I ain't got to worry about him. You know, fuck that, man.
You've got to be exposed to something that is going to be uncomfortable and make you grow.
You got to seek it out.
Yeah, you've got to work through problems, man.
I did not want to be in the house when I was growing up, man. I wanted to be outside with my fucking friends. Get me the fuck out of here.
And again, it brings us full circle, Seabass. You've got to be wise enough to know that you don't know.
Buddy, that is the best gift that you can give yourself.
Be wise enough to know that you don't know. And when somebody ever comes after me or challenges something I say, know this. I'm not going to talk to you about shining shoes, because guess what?
Right.
I'm not a shoe shiner. When it comes to being a plumber, I can use a plunger. That's about it. I'm calling a plumber.
Right.
But if it comes to rifles, rockets, and machine guns, I'm going to run my mouth, because guess what? I know rifles, rockets, and machine guns, and a little bit of old school NWA pro wrestling. If I know that, I'll speak to it. If I don't, I'm going to shut up and listen.
You know why? Because you've seen a thing or two.
Yeah, I know a thing or two because I have seen a thing or two, man. Ain't no doubt about it.
That's it. You know, it don't come out of my fucking mouth unless I've seen it or done it.
Otherwise, I'm going to defer to the expert. Now, where we'll get frustrated is some guy starts spouting awesome shit, and it's just bullshit. Oh, man, you were a Marine? What were you? I was part of the 03 series, man. You son of a bitch. Get away from me.
I remember that clown.
Lying.
He looked at me, JC said, get me the fuck away from this guy. I said, we'll go. Yeah. He's smiling at it. He's like, yo, you're a Marine? Okay, cool, Devil Dog. How you doing? What you doing? He smiled. Now he has everybody at that table fooled. Remember?
Yeah. I'm part of the 03 series. Bitch, get out of here.
I ain't never heard that in my
motherfucker.
People cope with bad feelings in different ways. So they'll scroll on social media. They'll play video games. Whatever. There's people have different coping mechanisms for bad feelings in general. And one of those things that is a bad feeling, right, is social anxiety. People not wanting to go out and interact with others. Yeah. And I think what you just said is really perfect there.
Yeah.
Seeking out the discomfort and going through it, pushing through it, and realizing that on the other side of it is worth whatever fears you had.
Here's an example, man. You know what? I don't remember any time before the age of 21 or even later. I never even knew what the fucking word anxiety was. I have people use that regularly. Hell, I see parents in front of their kids say, my kid has anxiety.
Right.
Guess what? Guess what? We all get worked up and scared of stuff. The point is you go face it, you rip its fucking head off, and you move on to the next obstacle.
Now, you know, the worst thing you could do to a Marine or anybody is make him comfortable.
And you know what,
right?
man, you've come full circle to something. Now, Seabass has done corked us, so I'm going to pour us another one. Let me tell you something. Yeah, you done got me fired up. Hold on.
You ain't
I said we need.
You ain't gonna pour mine.
I said, watch. I'm going to do. Look, watch this. Walk and chew bubble gum at the same time.
Buddy, look at there.
I said to myself, we need to make sure we do shows where we aren't drinking too much. But here we go.
But we're not
you were onto something, and guess what? We still teach in the Marine Corps, and this has forever been taught to our officers. Now, we can make officer jokes, right, to the young officer, but we know what we always warn our leaders of in the Marine Corps: beware, be deeply aware of anything. If there's ever one thing you're ever aware of and afraid of, it's making the comfort-based decision.
That's right.
If your life revolves around the comfort-based decision,
the worst thing you can do is make a Marine. Worst thing you can do is make a Marine or a man or anybody comfortable.
Oh man, you
got to push yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
It feels good at first, but then it turns into hell.
Right.
It turns into a hell.
Right.
Right.
You earn comfort.
People don't realize this. If you put any extended amount of time into any discipline, right? Like, I'm a really shitty bass player, but guess what? I put time into it. I'm better than 99% of people at playing a bass guitar.
Yeah, you got really good. Yep.
You do MMA, you win some and lose some, Seabass, but guess what? You're a better fighter than 99% of people out there.
By God.
Right?
Yep.
You've got to expose yourself to it. I'm a Marine sniper. I shoot really good, but guess what? There's a lot of guys that shoot a hell of a lot better than me, but guess what? I'm a Marine sniper. The point is, you've got to expose yourself to things that are uncomfortable, because the gift rests on the other side of that, right?
That's right.
It rests on the other side. Now, I've heard this before. It's be the slowest guy in a group of fast runners. Be the worst shot in a group of great shooters. Be the dumbest guy in a room full of smart people. Be that guy, because guess what that's going to do to your overall game? You're going to take the fuck off.
You're gonna climb.
So if it's uncomfortable, I will tell you, good.
The greatest gift you can give yourself, like you said earlier, give this to yourself. You're out there listening. Know that you don't know. And you know what you do? You go find it the fuck out. Understand you don't know everything. Like, remember what I told you? The one of the greatest things that ever happened to me when I was in the Marine Corps is I had a Marine tell me, Sergeant Bodette, you got to always be a student of your profession, which means you don't know everything. Every day you're learning. Every day, the second you think you know everything, you've lost it. Time to go.
Every year I go up to Ohio to go deer hunting, right? I go up to Ohio and I talk to the guy that owns the lodge, and he'll tell me about the rich guys that show up. Well, I just went down to Cabela's. I bought a $2,000 gun with a $2,000 scope, and Bill there at the counter bore-sighted it for me. I'm ready to go. Guess what, Hoss? If you don't personally zero the weapon, you know if that scope's a first focal plane, a second focal plane, how to apply
That's
trigger
just
pull.
Lazy too,
right? Yeah, you're just lazy. You deserve to miss a damn deer. The point is, you've got to put yourself through the rigor of what you're getting ready to do.
You don't deserve to fucking shoot a beautiful white-tailed deer unless you've done the right thing.
Or whatever you're hunting.
Right.
Right?
Or anything.
Yeah.
You don't deserve that.
You don't deserve it.
That. You don't deserve the Harvard set.
To being uncomfortable.
To being uncomfortable.
While y'all put that down, go ahead. I like to think about the analogy of, like, imagine if back in primitive times, right? If you're sitting in the valley with your village, okay, you seek something that might be uncomfortable, like going on a long hunt, leaving the village for a couple of weeks to come back with meat. I try to use that analogy for everyday life of, like, okay, I'm good. I've got money in the bank account. I don't have to leave the house today. I can sit here and jerk off and watch TV all day. But I try to remember that analogy of, like, go out, even if it's going to be uncomfortable. Try to make something of the day. Go in. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, our generation perpetuates it. And if you want to get a good cross-section of what our society is right now, I'll tell you a place to go. And where I find it, I go to the Kroger's in Tays Valley, West Virginia. So if you find yourself in Tays Valley, West Virginia, and you go to Kroger, here's what I see. As soon as I pull up, I see a 70-year-old dude that can't barely walk. And guess what he's doing?
Bagging groceries.
He's bagging groceries, and he's pushing carts. Now, I go into the grocery store. We have self-checkout. There are 4 self-checkout lines going, right? And the people bagging groceries, 2 of them, the cashier's doing it. The other 2, it's either a young physically fit kid, which is a rarity, or it's an old man. Then I look over to self-checkout, and I see a weak, sloppy, effeminate, early 20-something kid with his hands on his hips that doesn't lift a finger. He goes over there, and he runs self-checkout. And he comfortably and just is allowed to just do that. Whereas if this 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the guy running the groceries goes like, Bodette, get your fat ass over there and bag of groceries. As a matter of fact, Joe, you're done pushing carts. You're running this. We tacitly approve. That means you passively allow our youth to get away with sucking. We all own a piece of that. So if you come across a kid that's wayward, don't miss an opportunity to try to, in your own way, tell them, hey, man, this is only going to work for so long. We allow them to be comfortable. And eventually, maybe not in our lifetime, maybe not in our children's lifetime, but if we keep on the path we're on, you know what? A hardier, better man is going to come to our shores and breed us the fuck out. And you know what? We'd have earned every damn bit of it.
Let me tell you, just like the Vikings taught, we will come to your front door. We will take everything that you own. We will take your women, and we will breed a stronger race.
And guess what? You earned every bit of it.
Because they allowed it to happen, because they got comfortable.
You know, we're animals, man. And to be honest with you, I think we're going to a place right now where we got men and women doing shit that they weren't designed to do. And I think it's scary, man. You know, and I hope when we do get a wake-up call, it's not too painful. But, yeah.
Yeah, you know, about every 20 or 30 years, we get a big wake-up call.
We do. We get a war. You know.
God damn, man. I mean, you know, people have no idea. I see these people on social media, they have no fucking clue. And I just want to strangle them.
Right.
You know. But what can you do? You know, I mean, they're a product of, they become products of their environment.
You guys
they allowed it to happen.
You guys are just mean.
Yeah, we're just mean. How about this? You want to see mean? How about I face fuck your mom?
Hey, so just continuing on with this idea that you can choose to be stronger, right? If you don't like where you're at in life, you can choose to make a better life. You can choose to take a step in towards the light, towards a better direction.
It's your right granted to you by God. Okay? Your invaluable right. The pursuit of happiness.
The pursuit of happiness.
You're guaranteed the pursuit. So that means you got to get your fucking ass up and go do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? You know, people forget that word pursuit. Yeah. I'm guaranteed happiness. I'm not happy. Well, look at you, you fucking clown.
I mean, think about this. Think about this. I've got to get ready to go get my knee scoped, right? I've been shot. I got my elbows hurt when I go to the gym. You know, I can either go and work out and try to fight father time, or I can be fat. Choose your hard. You want to get divorced? You want to stay married? Choose your hard. All right? Life is choices, man. Choose your hard. It's all hard.
Now, I will tell you this. Sitting up here acting like I know everything and this and that. I have made some pretty fucking shitty choices in my life. Okay?
I've made some bad choices.
It's a part of growing, okay? But with that being said, you cannot use that as an excuse. Oh, well, it's all part of growing. No, I just fucked that up. And 99.99% of every bad choice I made, guess what? I knew it was a bad choice. I knew it. So, you know, so don't think I'm up here just pounding my chest, trying to give advice and shit, because I have done it. I am not perfect, you know, and none of us are. But God damn it, you know, I've done all I can to not make myself comfortable. You know.
I don't think I've ever heard Bo admit he's not perfect. That's a first here on the show.
Well, listen, you know what's led us to that, and I don't know if anybody. He said it's the first time he's heard you say that you don't have the answers. But I'm going to tell you why that is when I was in my travels yesterday, I was worried about Bo, and I picked up this book for him. This is a self-esteem workbook. So anybody that knows Bo that he needs a little work on this, a simple, effective program for mastery of liking yourself, conquering self-doubt, seeing your core worth, rational thinking, body appreciation. You need to work on your arm game. Affirming thoughts, enlarging possibilities, flop inoculation, I don't know what the fuck that is, forgiving yourself, loving meditation, and liking the face in the mirror.
Oh, my God. Look at this. This is some good shit right here. Anyway.
And it's in the trash.
I'll be damned.
Well, maybe
I paid good money for that book.
Well, that's why you're an officer. You get paid.
Hey, hold time out. Time out. Hey, Seabass, this is a chance for you to ask, what is the most fucked up thing JC's ever said to you, Bo? Go ahead and ask that question.
Hey, Bo, what's the most fucked up thing JC's ever said to you?
We're sitting in this garage a couple days before payday, and I said, man, I think we get paid tomorrow or something. JC said, I already got paid. I said, how'd you already get paid? He looked me dead in the face and said, I'm an officer. They pay us first.
Well, that's the right thing to do.
I said, you son of a bitch.
Listen, Officer's Manual 1863 says,
what does it say?
It says that enlisted men are cunning and deceitful and bear considerable watching.
I'd love that. That would be my next tattoo.
Enlisted men are cunning and deceitful and bear considerable watching.
That's really written.
It absolutely is.
I love it that our saying is Marines never lie, cheat, or steal. But in order to get the mission done, to get us all home.
Wait a minute. It's called improvise.
Time out.
We will improvise. We will adapt. Okay?
Right, it's called adapting, right?
Look, bottom line is this. We'll do what it takes. You know, if I have to steal something, it's not really, there ain't no thieves in the Marine Corps. Everybody's just trying to get their shit back.
This is a good, we in past episodes, we talk about traits and principles. Listen, whatever it takes to accomplish the mission, I'm down with, short of fucking another Marine.
Right. Well, absolutely. Listen, if I have to fuck another Marine to accomplish that mission,
I'm not doing it.
I'll fuck myself.
Before I fuck them.
Before I fuck them. Absolutely.
Amen.
Now, granted, you know, it may come down to that. But somehow, some way, you're going to make it fucking happen.
I mean, listen, you've spoke about this in depth. If I got to take advantage of the SMU to give my Marines what they need, I'm going to do that. If another service leaves gear adrift, hey, I'm going to do what I need to do. That's just the way it is. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I remember one time leaving Iraq, I had one of my team leaders, and he was always pissing me off. And he fucked everything up. And
what was this?
It was after you left.
Oh.
And he would make me mad because he was tough to deal with. And I had a company staff that I really didn't care for, and we would go at it, and he comes to me, and he says, Gunny, he says, I'm missing a saw barrel. I said, let me explain something to you.
Yeah.
I said, we are getting on that truck and leaving for Al-Assad and flying home in 10 minutes. I said, I will shoot you and put you in a ditch if you don't come back with a saw barrel in 10 minutes. Now, somehow, somebody lost a fucking saw barrel, but that Marine came back with a saw barrel. He went, Gunny. I said, get on the truck.
Get on the bus.
Get on the truck.
Get on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. That's fucking awesome. Hey, I taught that. As a drill instructor, I taught that. Crew come up to me missing a canteen cap. I don't give a fuck. Go find it. Go to another deck. I don't give a fuck. We don't have missing gear here. You know, back in the day, I remember being on ship. You walk through a berth there, there'd be a Marine sitting there with his Kevlar helmet on watching TV because he left his helmet adrift. Platoon sergeant made him wear it for a week straight.
And you know, I feel like a real son of a bitch, and I've done a little unlawful appropriation myself a time or two. Now, you come back to the hills of West Virginia in your little pickup truck, and you pull the seat forward, and you've got about 50 of the bent, angled moonbeams from when you were a drill instructor. I say, buddy, one of you hogs better give me a moonbeam right now. Here, sir. You get to West Virginia, and people are like, JC, you got anything good from us from the Marine Corps? Buddy, I said, as a matter of fact, I do. I hand out a bent arm flashlight. Listen, if we go back to any of the 7.5 platoons I led as a drill instructor, and you think I screwed you on a moonbeam, come see me and I will reimburse you. But I had a whole truckload full of them things. But there's some hillbilly boy out in West Virginia be like, this is what they use.
And then when you could change the lenses.
Buddy, we're going to offer you blue, red, purple, all kinds of stuff.
But that was high speed there. That was definitely high speed shit.
Unlawful appropriation. Shame on me.
You know, bottom line, you know, you just got to make it happen. You got to make it happen. You know, that was in the realm of being uncomfortable.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people actually will stop themselves. I think that's the biggest thing I've ever learned is you're the only one that stops you. You're the only one in your own way, and a lot of people want to pull the trigger and take a better opportunity, but they just stop themselves. They get in their own way. And I've always wondered, what is it that turns the key and gets somebody in, you know, to believe in themselves or to go and do something that's bigger than them or that's, you know?
You know, that's a hard one because
I think
a lot of these kids are a product of their environment and their families, okay?
Yep.
Okay, so that's a hard one. You know,
I think somewhere you've got to burn into somebody's soul to take ownership of themselves. And then further than that, you've got to burn into their soul. Once they're ready to go ascend from boy to man, they've got to be ready to take care of others. So I'm going to go back to something old school that the chorus kind of went away with. But when we were coming up, we had this NCO creed that I thought was amazing. And at the end of the NCO creed, which for those of you out there that don't know, that is a corporal and a sergeant. As an NCO, I'm responsible for the conduct and professionalism of my Marines, and I'm responsible to my commanding officer, and they are a reflection of me.
right.
You've got to burn it onto somebody's soul that once I've learned to take care of my own ass, that these guys, team and squad, they're mine. So when they go out and they fucking either kick ass, that reflects on me. Or if they punt it into the fucking stands, that also reflects on me. That matters, man.
It does matter.
And again, I feel like
To this day, we were talking about you at work.
yeah. And
People you got hooked up with, you know.
yeah. And we think about going back with our guys, right? When guys get out, and I'll even use you as an example. You are a freeze-dried Marine sergeant. When you got out, your mind, you're a Marine sergeant. When we see our guys that got out as corporals and sergeants, they still address and think and treat us as if they are still corporals and sergeants 20 years later. They don't talk, and the guys that we had that were lieutenants that got out as lieutenants, they still think, operate, and speak like they're a lieutenant, right? Us old heads, we've probably seen a little bit more, and we speak that way, so we can traverse the spectrum of, you know, private to fucking officer.
But any other dumbass questions?
Well, shit, we can end with one more.
Fuck, bring it, damn it.
We'll have one more shot, and then we're done.
Go ahead, Port. So while you're queuing that up, you said something just now I fucking love. You were talking about how you taking ultimate responsibility for your own life is one of the only ways, is maybe the only way to put it in a good direction.
Your habits equal your outcomes. Unless you get struck by lightning, hit by a car, get hit with cancer, generally speaking, your habits equal your outcomes, right? And you and me talk about this, right? I remember a few years ago we were getting ready for a reunion, and I had to attend pro wrestling school to wrestle one of our Marines. I physically was not ready because when I retired, I let off the gas. What a horrible, horrible idea that was. And now, if every joint in my body hurts, but I'm still in there repping it like my joints don't hurt, I'm good with that, right? Right? Do that. It's worth it. It's worth it, man. It's worth it. Your habits determine your outcomes, and that is 99% of everything. Your habits are going to determine your outcomes, man.
Well, I hope the hell not. I have never seen J.C. Knight take 3 shots in a row of straight whiskey. Never.
You're going to pick that book up and read it, because goddamn it,
will.
you need to.
You will fucking take that Yankee coat off, throw it on the ground, and piss on it. What's that from?
Some old Civil War movie.
Yeah. And you'll piss on it.
So what direction we go? You want to talk politics? You want to talk more philosophy stuff? You want to talk Marine Corps stuff? You want to talk about living a good life? You want to talk about bad decisions? You want to talk about girls? You want to talk about mistakes? You want to talk about...
He's running out of stuff on us. He's running out of stuff. You're supposed to tell us, man.
Well,
you're just supposed to throw out some
What in
dates.
the fuck kind of producer is this? Running out of shit.
I did the best I could.
Hey, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for, JC. I'll tell you what.
You get what you pay for.
Right.
Let's talk about some truth that landed us here, Seabass. Let's talk about how this relationship got built.
Okay.
Let's talk about this.
All right.
How did we meet?
Well, shit, we was at, you were given a brief, and I was a sergeant. Or
I don't even know how you guys met.
No, you were a corporal.
I was a corporal sitting in...
Look at him trying to stolen valor.
God damn it, we just talked about this.
And he tried to promote himself.
He was a corporal.
I was a corporal sitting there, and you came and gave your brief.
Yep.
At the end of the brief, you said what everyone says. Every senior enlisted officer says, if you need anything, give me a call. And then you left.
Did you call him? Call him?
I gave you a call through Facebook Messenger.
That's the first step right
That's the
there.
first step. And here's
step.
the check. Number one, you're here right now. You are here talking, and you're here. We're doing a show. So clearly, this relationship has grown. But when you called me, what did I tell you?
Shit, I don't know. You said, I'll do it. You said, I'm in.
I said, hey, you're out doing a brief in Boone County, West Virginia, home of the dancing outlaw. I'm there. And not only did I show up to do a brief, what else did I bring? I brought a gun.
Yep.
I brought cigars.
Oh, yeah.
And I brought Gatorades.
You brought cigars and Gatorade for the whole platoon.
Right? Because that was the right thing to do.
Yeah, that was a good time.
You know how many people, honest to God, Seabass, would not have made that call?
Right.
And look what happens. If you wouldn't have made that call, look at the opportunity you missed.
This would be big. Man, this is going to be big. I'm telling you, everybody listen right now, this is going to be big. I know this doesn't look like much right now, but these two guys are going all the way to the fucking top.
Hey, man, and listen, we often think about what's right directly in front of us. Sometimes it's a deep fight, right? Sometimes it's a deep fight. And I've seen people in industry, particularly in industry, and guys that are somewhere in their professional life that'll roll up on me and Bubba. I talked to General such and such. I talked to General such and such.
Whoop these shit.
Nobody fucking cares, right? But at the end of the day, I went out and talked to a combat engineer unit. I talked to 20 NCOs,
That's it.
2 captains, and a master sergeant.
Fucking right.
And today, guess what? One of those guys is my friends. The other guys are field grade officers. You know what they remember? That I took the time to come talk to them. And here we are. And you called me, and that relationship developed. And one of the proudest moments I have in our friendship is you said, I'm getting promoted to sergeant, and I want you to pin a sergeant chevron.
Oh, did you promote him?
I did.
He pinned sergeant on my collar.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
Right?
That's a
Yeah,
hell
I mean,
of an
well-
honor, man. Listen,
And that's not lost on me.
Marines don't know that a lot of times. Do you know what kind of an honor that if you call staff and CO or an officer to pin you?
Right.
I mean, that is a great, that is fucking amazing.
Right.
When a Marine wants you to pin his shit on.
I still got that picture somewhere, yeah.
And then we go a step further, and 4th CEB's having a ball, right? And you said, who's the guest speaker? You said, and not only that, I had a great opportunity to not only recognize our friendship, but before I started talking to the Marines, I looked out to the crowd, and there's the county sheriff, there's Mike Gray, there's one of our Marines who had done some great things. There's my best friend Bodette. There's our families, and I talk about the history and what's good.
Mike Gray's a smart son of a bitch.
He is,
boy.
man.
God damn.
He is, man. Wherever Mike Gray is, you crazy, weird motherfucker, we love you, and safe travels, man. But the point was, we had a good time with that, and you took the time to reach out to me, and we opened a door, right? I opened the door to make a friendship, and look where this friendship's gone, man. So don't miss the opportunity. If you're going to say, guys, if you need anything, hit me up. You don't know where it's going to go, man. I mean, till the day I die, I'm going to be friends with Seabass, man. That's a special, great thing, man. And I hope as an old graybeard, and Bo feels the same way, that you know we're there for you, man. We got your back, man.
Fucking right.
And that matters, man. So don't
right.
see the signs, know the opportunity.
Did you see on Facebook where Thibodeau surprised Stefanovic?
That was pretty fucking cool.
Did you see that?
Right.
They were best buddies.
Yeah.
And here's Stefanovic walking. He's behind his desk in a suit and tie.
Right.
Stands up and they hug each other and they start crying.
Yeah. It's a big deal. It's like when we showed up and seen Taddy.
Right.
Yeah, don't miss the opportunity, man. If you're gonna say you're gonna do something for somebody, do it, right?
Do not ever miss the opportunity to do the right thing, or do not ever miss the opportunity to keep your fucking mouth shut in front of somebody that'll beat the fuck out of you.
And people, this is the reality, man. And if I've learned anything, you can have any type of tech, any type of product, any type of this, any type of that. It's not just about relationships. It's fucking all about relationships, right? And once you build that, you create a circle of just bulletproof, tight dudes, man. Don't let no trash in your circle. That matters. Because me and him know this. You're going to see people come and go all the time. People are going to come, oh, I'm buddies with Bo and JC. Yeah, right? No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah, skip on that. Get out of here, right?
Well, I think that ties in perfectly to something that I believe, deep down, I believe that you cannot do it alone. You can't accomplish anything worthwhile alone. And there's a lot of guys on social media, right, pushing this idea of do it alone. You don't need anybody. Fuck everybody else. And while I think that's a helpful mindset to push through some periods of time where there's solitude,
man, surround yourself with winners.
I think you
surround yourself with winners.
We're social beings. Our software up here was never designed to sit alone, to be alone, or to try and accomplish anything alone. You know, so
look,
maybe,
man, I've said this in my professional life. I say this in my personal life.
Look at this picture right here. Surround yourself with winners. This is me when JC was a gunner, invited me to be the guest speaker of his NCOs.
It's badass. Yeah, it's a badass moment.
That is epic.
Can you see that? Surround yourself with winners.
That's a great picture.
That's one of my favorite pictures, actually.
Yeah, man.
I think that's not.
I can't say that enough, man. I want to be around good people, man. But I'm not taking no time with no scumbags.
I don't think anybody talks about that enough. It's not over. It cannot be overstated, right? It cannot be overstated that if someone's unhappy or dissatisfied with their life, look around you. Look around you. Who are you surrounding yourself with? I think it matters, and it's maybe it's better for you to go be alone for a while instead of being around people who are holding you back or pulling you down, worse than holding you back. You know,
I completely agree, man. Completely agree.
You know, it's a tough nut to crack sometimes because some bad things happen to good people.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. You can't stop cancer. You can't stop somebody getting struck by lightning or being in a car wreck.
I had somebody tell me this. He said, "I can't quit because I'm not dead."
You know, I
think about that. I can't quit because I'm not dead.
I had a guy back in the day who used to say this. He goes, "How do you know you did it right? You've got to show proof of your passing. And that proof of your passing could be good or bad. But if it's the proof of that passing is good, you're going to reap those benefits." And we talked about this again earlier. I got more days behind me than I've got ahead of me. And the proof of your passing that you did it right, a man will die 2 deaths. If you did it right, your name is only going to die when people stop talking about the good deeds that you did.
When people quit mentioning your name.
That's it. So if that's
I ain't gonna let that happen because next Christmas I'm getting these little miniature statues of me made and I'm passing them out to everybody I know for Christmas.
I think that's amazing.
Just me wrapped in a loincloth holding a fucking club. Yeah. One ball hanging out.
Well, what's that saying there? All defeat is psychological until death. Right?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
you're never defeated. You are never defeated.
I've heard that. Some men stop living at 27, but they don't get buried till they're 72.
That's it.
Right? I ain't having that shit. I'm going out, man. I'm going to live it every chance I get. And you know what? If you're a scumbag or a douchebag that was a never has been, I don't care if you like it or not. I'm up there, worst bass player on the planet, rocking it out to some TNT, and the people got moving. I don't care if you like it or not. You know what? I'm happy. I'm happy, and I'm living my best life, man. So get after it, man. Whatever it is, man, get after it.
I think a big reason people are like that when they leave negative comments online is because they have this negative mentality about themselves and they're projecting outwards, right?
Who cares what they say?
Well,
I mean, we look at stuff. This is the best one. When you go and take a look at somebody that's commented on your stuff, it's like, look at these two guys, bunch of pussies. They're not for real. Hey, man, if that makes you happy, dude, hey, you go right ahead.
Is this supposed to be interesting?
Yeah.
I'll show you interesting, motherfucker.
Reality is a mirror. Reality is a mirror. So if that's his reality, that's what he's projecting. It's right.
Man, I'm so grateful and honored for the blessings that have come my way.
Me too.
And to be sitting here at 48, to be able to live the life I have with my family, with my friends, my best friend sitting here, doing what I'm doing, man. I've lived the life of 100 men. And if I go fucking tomorrow, I lived it, man.
Oh,
man.
Listen, I've had every fucking job. I repoed cars. I was a stripper. I was a bouncer. I was a United States Marine. Hell, I even fucked a circus clown.
We're going to have to hear that sometime.
You once, because of that, I remember playing the bass out here on my back patio at a party to Rocky Mountain Way, and you had a strip-off with a 400-pound wrestler named Paparazzi. And he put the honey hams on the line against Bill Bodette's country hams.
Well, I didn't know what was going on, remember? I was going to punch him.
Well, we diffused that, and he was here for a dance-off, and I got to say, he might have got you.
He's calling me out. I'm like, no, fuck's this fat fuck calling me out. I just moved here. JC's like, no, we're not. He's not calling you out like that.
Well, he did get you a little wound up. He says, I'm here. I'm not.
Is there somebody named Bo here?
No.
Something like that.
Remember this as clearly as I do. First, he came up and he says, I'm not here for you, JC Knight. I'm here for that no good dildo Bodette. And you said, looks like I'm going to have to whip somebody's ass. And
I got out of that lawn chair.
And that singer said, no. He's here to put the honey hams on the line against Bill Bodette's country hams.
I thought he was here to fight.
And y'all had a shake-off, buddy. That was magical. I think we owe the people that for enough. We got to get Paparazzi on a show.
You know, he's skinny now.
Well, we need to tell him about we need to talk about the hardships that he went through to get to where he's at.
Well, you were talking about that guy leaving negative comments and stuff. I think people don't realize they can stop being like that, right? Like, I don't think it even occurs to them, hey, you can quit being a dickhead. You can stop being, you can just stop. You can stop right now.
He's full of shit because he watched the fucking program. Okay? If it sucked, he wouldn't have watched it.
Right.
If you comment on it, guess what, jackass? I got your attention.
Right. Yeah, well, it's just like people, again, we've been talking all afternoon about how people are complaining about things out of their control, right? And I think we would turn this whole country around almost overnight if people just looked at their own backyard and said, hey, what can I control? What can I fix? What's fucked up in my own life that I can...
That's great you said that. My Uncle Jimmy was a gunny when I was a private. And he said, you know what, Bill? You're not going to be able to fix everything. There's a lot of things you're going to like. But what you do is you fix your own little corner and expand it from there.
And be wise enough that again, what does it come back to?
My Uncle Jimmy told me that when he was a gunny.
As a gunny telling you that, what does the gunny recognize? Individual, team, squad, platoon. And if all you ever get to is you fix the platoon, well, guess what? You fixed 40 motherfuckers,
right,
man.
Yeah,
you did pretty good.
Right.
And if you got an opportunity to go past that, great. You know, here's a way to wrap it up. Here's a way to not necessarily wrap it up, but bring it into light. General David Shoup, Commandant of the Marine Corps.
He was a commandant when my grandfather was...
in 1-4. The gallery is full of critics. They play no ball. They fight no fights. They make no mistakes because they attempt nothing. Down in the arena are the doers. They make mistakes because they try many things. The man who makes no mistakes lacks boldness and the spirit of adventure. God knows we're not short of that. He is the one who never tries anything. He is the brake on the wheel of progress. And yet it cannot be truly said he makes no mistakes because his biggest mistake is the very fact that he tries nothing, does nothing except criticize those who do things. I don't want to hear your bullshit.
Send me that.
I don't want to hear your bullshit.
Send me that.
I will.
That is the best way to say, listen, if you've not walked the walk, shut the fuck up.
That's it. That's it.
Because you're a pussy.
You know?
That reminds me of one of my favorite speeches ever given by Theodore Roosevelt. He's talking about the man in the arena. Let me pull up just a little excerpt. It's a long speech, so I'll just recite a little bit of it. But here, the man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out the strong man, how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Listen, if I'm not in the fight or the arena, the least damn thing I can do is cheer for you.
Let me ask you this, or let me point this out to you. Here's us three. If we weren't United States Marines, do you think we'd be sitting here talking about and reading these quotes to each other?
Fuck no.
Not a chance in hell.
No way in hell. No. All right, 3 other people in this probably whole state together right now, even close to having this conversation.
And there's this idea that it's cringe or that it's not worth your time to consume philosophy or better ideas. And this, to me, is the baseline. It's where you should start, is changing your mindset, changing your belief system, and adopting these ideas, because you'll never accomplish anything if you don't believe in yourself, right?
Hardier men came before us. Go to the Marine Corps Museum.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll have a wall the size of this wall covered in little eagle globes and anchors that represents every Marine and sailor that died at Iwo Jima. These are ideals of great men that lived a great life, that went out on their shield for at one point in time really truly gave their life for our freedom.
Oh, yeah.
I'm proud to say that those ideals that descended with them to me. I think we owe it to carry those stories forward, and not only that, live them to the best of our ability, man.
Right, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about speeches and stuff. Change the subject a little bit. Winston Churchill. Okay. You know, he was known as a drinker, and he didn't get along with a lot of people because he was brash, very fucking, you know, straightforward, and he wasn't very gentlemanly like in England a lot of times. Well, this old fucking woman in the House of Commons said, "Sir Winston, if I was your wife, I would poison your tea." And he looked at her and he said, "My lady, if you were my wife, I would gladly drink it." So,
he'd rather be dead than hang out with that old woman all day. Yep.
My lady, I would gladly drink it.
You know, since we're on quotes, and I'm not a huge quote guy, but we think about the way we think as Marines, and clearly we to a great degree, I think we get it. But this is how you go after the things you believe in and the things that you're up against. This is from World War I with First Lieutenant Clifton Cates, who eventually went on to be the Commandant. "I have no one on my left, and I only have a few on my right. I will hold."
What does that tell you?
Against
That's powerful, buddy.
hundreds of Germans. I have no one on my left and only a few on my right. Look, I got goosebumps.
And I will hold.
I will hold.
Wow.
Fucking man.
I have no one on my left.
A few on my right. I will hold.
I will hold.